Hiring too early and too late are the biggest hiring mistakes in family law. We avoid both at Sterling. Here is how we treat hiring as a financial problem and how Todd Clower, our CFO, uses data to predict every single hire. Welcome back to the Sterling Family Law Show, the show for family law firm owners who want to grow their profits, multiply their cases, and set a clear roadmap on what they need to build so they can have the firm of their dreams. Our episodes break down proven business growth, digital marketing, and revenue-first strategies to help you scale smarter and not just be busy all the time. I am Tyler Dolph, CEO of Rocket Clicks, which is a business growth consultancy that works exclusively with family lawyers because we were built out of our very own family law firm, Sterling Lawyers, that has grown to over 30 attorneys across 2 different states. Today, we have Todd Clower, who is the CFO of Sterling Lawyers, as well as Sterling's co-founder, Anthony Carls. We're going to break down how we think about hiring and what metrics you need to track in order to have a great hiring funnel. All right, Todd, welcome back to the show. Today, we are talking about hiring. And as you know, we work with lots of family law firms, and we get this question all the time. When do I hire? What should I hire for? When should they start? And we're going to rely on you as our resident expert because when we're at Sterling and we're thinking about making a hire, we come to you first because we see that law firms they do hiring wrong in 2 different ways. They either hire too late or they hire too early. And most of that happens because it's based on a feeling, right? Oh, it feels like we're really slammed, so we should make the hire right now. Or it feels like everyone's idle, and so we got to do something about it. Tell us how you think about this at Sterling, and what are some of the processes you've implemented to help us make better hiring decisions from all aspects.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me back on. It's definitely a big challenge for every business, right? Really, regardless if it's a law firm or anything, right? It's when do you hire, right? When do you hire the right person? And you hit on the two key things, right? Hiring too late or hiring too early. And there's a myriad of reasons why you don't want to be in either one of those buckets. But it is mostly people say it feels like I need to hire somebody. Anytime you say that, it's really tough. As a finance guy, I don't like feelings, right? I like to say I don't have any feelings, but it's really got to be supported by data. And one of the key things for us as we've kind of continued to grow out at Sterling is feelings are always a component of it, but we have to have data to support it. And what we use is the waterfall, right? It's the waterfall that we've built, that Tony's built over time here, that we continue to use day after day after day after day. And if you get those metrics right on that waterfall, it will enable you to say, hey, when am I going to hit a point where I'm over 100% or probably even over 90% productive or efficient with my people? And you have to plan on that in advance. There are still 2 issues, right? You still kind of look at who am I hiring, right? Am I going to hire an experienced attorney or am I going to hire a new attorney right out of law school, right? Both of those might lead to a different timing, right, of when we're going to hire. But the key thing is trusting the waterfall that we've built, that you've built for your firm that says, here's when I'm going to get those FAs. Here's when I'm going to get my caseload up to be so high that I can't handle it with my existing attorney.
Love it. Tony, talk to us about some of those metrics. What was the reasoning behind building those in the first place? And then what metrics do you use and do you and Todd talk about as we're thinking about hiring?
Yeah, I mean, the main metric that Todd's talking about is how do we take our waterfall numbers and then build out a capacity utilization rate. Essentially, is what it boils down to. So once you kind of get your base waterfall down, you can then start to understand kind of what that flow will look like into the future, and then you can build a consumption model. So how long do these cases stay on average, and then what does that do to my capacity as a result? Because I know certain tiers of attorneys, whether in our system we have maybe four tiers of attorneys roughly. With the newbies coming in, we have our senior associates, we have our partners and our senior partners, and they all have different utilization scores that they can hold from a caseload perspective, and then we can judge, what's coming through the waterfall and how does this, based on that, going out into the future with our current talent pool, how does that change our utilization rate? It's really that. It's using kind of the base waterfall and then building forecasts into the future, so you can, and taking that forecast down into team member headcount and utilization, so you can really understand how to make a really good educated guess, because it's still a guess, but it's going to inform HR on, like, all right, we know it takes XYZ amount of time before we get a person in the seat, and then we know based on onboarding that person, here's how long it's going to take to get them to a productive team member, quote unquote. So those are all timings, and you're just trying to you're not trying to do it perfect. You're just trying to get a better guess, like get a much better data-driven projection, and then Todd's done a way better job at making this better, because he comes from a very different perspective. I built the waterfall from a marketing and sales vantage point, and he's leveraging it for how we actually run the firm. So it's just been very informative across all the different disciplines of the business, and just the more you use it, the better you model it. And obviously, Todd's built bigger and better models than I have, so it just has been continually getting refined over time, which has been a benefit. But it's just like we've picked the system, and now we just continue to refine the system.
Because I think, Todd, for a small, law firm owner, they're really thinking about a couple questions. One, can I afford them? Do we have enough leads in our system to be able to pay for this new hire? And then two, how long is it going to take them to ramp up so that they can start taking cases, right?
Yeah, totally. That's why it's so important to understand what your hiring model needs to be, which is, am I hiring that new person right out of school? Because that ramp up period is going to be long, right? Because they don't know how to bill, they don't know how to work with clients, all that stuff, right? So it does take time. Now that's also I'll call it a cheaper hire, a more reasonable hire from a dollars perspective. That said, you go to the opposite extreme and you go hire a senior associate or even a partner level. They've been there, they've done that, they know how to do it, they know how to work, they're probably bringing clients with them, all that stuff, right? Makes a huge difference. But it does take longer to find that person, right? Because they don't just grow on trees. They're not just sitting out there with their shingle out saying, okay, hire me, right? A key thing that we focus on, part of what Tony was talking about, is what we've been able to do is to show our attorneys too that we have this model, right? So burnout is always a key thing, right? You don't want anybody to get burned out, because then they're going to leave, and then you're behind the 8 ball already because you didn't hire in advance for them. So if we can show them, and as we show them that, hey, this is what we're doing, this is when we know we need to hire somebody, right? It builds confidence with the team, right? So that's super important as well. Use the model, pick a model, use a model, and stick with the model, right? So back to the timing, right? I mean, timing is super important. And do I want to make that investment? I go back to a book that I read way back in the day. It was called The Tipping Point, right? And it's like, you're always going to have to take a chance and spend a little bit more in a short period of time, because you have to. So your utilization, your profitability may go down a little bit, but it's only going to go down so it goes up faster. And that is something that you have to be willing to do. And, you get to a point where you start trusting the numbers, and that risk becomes lower and lower and lower.
What if you're always hiring 3 months too late and you don't even know it? By the time you think you need another attorney, the damage is already done. Your team's burned out, cases are piling up, utilization's through the roof, because hiring was never about gut feel. It's about data. Sterling Lawyers built an 80-employee family law firm by forecasting our hires every single month. We're teaching the exact method to predict your next hire in a free webinar. When to start recruiting, what roles to fill each month, and how to protect your profit margins. The link is in the show notes below. And I know, we talk about our waterfall a lot and it's very sophisticated and we built it over lots of years. But if you don't have the perfect waterfall, there are some basic metrics that you can start tracking to get better insights into when you should hire and what that hiring schedule can look like. What are some of those kind of just high level metrics that maybe a new firm owner can start to track?
Yeah, I think it really starts from the bottom. You have to understand how many cases can an individual attorney handle, and then you kind of just work up the funnel, right? You get to the FAs, so that means I got to bring in so many cases a month, right? And if I have to bring in so many cases a month, it's how many consults do I have to have? It goes back to how many sets do I have to have? How many leads do I have to have? How many quality leads do I have to have? I mean, you're right. I mean, not everybody's going to have a 50 set, model, right? It could be 5, it could be 3. Pick the metrics that you can manage, that you can report on, that you can affect. And that's how you're going to be better, right? That's the only way you can do it, is start with what you've got and then grow it, right? And, Tony's done a fantastic job of kind of building this. And I know, just the amount of data that we have helps with that, because it gives you a better and better sense of, hey, this is going to happen. Oh, I see a blip. Well, what happened there? Let's go investigate that, right? But it all boils down to, what's that caseload per attorney?
Yeah, the case, and then also the length. Like those two, if you're looking hiring, it's like how long do these stay, and what's the load volume number. We created a case load volume number. It's different than just raw cases, but we started with just cases. The number used to be 40. Like that was the old number. The new number, like we now have a scoring model for cases as they're going through stages in our fixed fee system. So it's a little more advanced than just raw cases, but you can just do raw cases. That's where you have to start. You don't have anything else.
Yeah, starting is the hardest part, right? Starting is the hardest part.
100%. Any lessons learned, Tony, from the early days and kind of the why behind putting a model like this in place?
Don't assume it's going to be 100% correct, because it's not going to be. And if you're not, the biggest, I would say the biggest mistake I made with the waterfall is that Todd and Jeff have done a good job with in the firm, is the team understands it now. The team didn't understand it when I was running it, because it was just, I wasn't good at teaching it, and I understood it so well. It was hard to be there and like why don't you get it? Why don't you understand it? So like Todd and Jeff have done a really good job with that. And getting the team involved and having them see it, you're gonna be able to leverage those feelings that a lot of people typically use for hiring, and you're gonna be able to start quantifying them by reviewing the model, and like Todd holds forecast update meetings frequently, so that we can review. Here's what the model said. Here's what it says we should be doing. Where are we at? Should we tweak it? What adjustments should we make? All those types of things. And it's a team game. It's team sport. And that would be the biggest mistake, is like doing it yourself and nobody understands it, and then you're not going to build the confidence with the team that Todd mentioned. And you're going to have more of those feelings be red running on high RPM feelings, versus like, okay, yeah, see what's happening, see what's coming. We got a plan for this, because a lot of times people have all those extreme feelings because there's no plan, there's no clarity in the plan. So like they're just telling their own story. So that would be a big. I don't know. That was probably the biggest lesson learned, is like, do this as a team, continue doing it, continue meeting, and do it as a team.
Yeah, I think to build on that a little bit, I think, we at Sterling are lucky enough to have, like I said, so much data, and we have such a long history, and we know what those metrics are, and we know what those things are. But to Tony's point, what we did is we said, hey, the attorney group, we don't need to share 200 metrics with you, right? We're going to pick 8. And those 8 are what are going to be able for you to support and you to understand. And that's going to show that you have the pulse on the business and that we know what's going on in the background, right? And it builds that trust. I mean, we literally had a conversation the other day. One of our MPs said, "Hey, I see, it feels like," right? She started with, "It feels like we should be hiring." But should we really be hiring? And we had a really, really good conversation of, hey, here's what the metrics are showing us, right? Here's what we think. Here's why we believe that, yes, now is the time. So it's really cool to see people own that and start saying, hey, I'm relying on this. And is this the right thing, right? Because it asks the right question.
100%. Guys, I love this. I appreciate your time. The lesson here is to stop making hiring decisions based on feel. Leverage data. Build the data into your firm so that you can actually know when to hire. And so now that you know the key metrics that you need to start to predict your next hire, it's time to learn how to run the entire hiring forecasting process, start to finish. We call that our 4-step hiring head start. And that is going to be featured on our next episode. So if you're not subscribed to our channel, please make sure to do so. And then if you want the complete system live with a working model that you can apply to your own firm, register now for the free webinar that we are going to have. And we're going to bring Todd back and Tony back for that webinar on June 26th. The link is in the description below. Sign up today because spots are limited and we are going to take a deep dive into this system. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you all soon.